Welcome to our 800-pound podcast, a podcast where three big dudes talk about big topics. Today's topic is TV shows. I know we've talked about actors, movies in previous episodes. Now we're going to focus a little more on TV shows, things that have played, before I was born, and that it was black and white.
Back in Shadows Day.
No,
Back in
no,
Shadows Day.
no.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about TV shows, the good, the bad, the ugly. Things TV shows maybe we just don't think or deserve what they've gotten, and then TV shows that really um just spark genres, and we have a good community question this week, and I'm joined by Shadow and Pritch, and we will start off by Shadow. I want you to tell me some of your favorite TV shows, but the one caveat to this first question is your favorite TV show besides The Office, because that would just be the number one for all of us. So, what is your favorite TV show
Gosh.
besides The Office?
I
So I
mean,
have
should we set
many.
some time aside to talk about The Office? Because I know all three of
Let's
us love that show.
let's talk about it real quick.
And
Yeah.
I'm wearing my Michael Scott shirt, so
Oh God, dude. Oh my gosh. The Office super fan edition. Does that count?
yeah.
No. I mean, I don't have just one favorite TV show besides The Office. um, but I mean, in the list of things, How I Met Your Mother was a show that I absolutely loved for so long. It is such a freaking funny show. Parks and Rec. You know what the funny thing is? I look at this list of like movies or TV shows that I are like my favorite, and they all are within the same genre of
Yeah.
like The
Yeah, they're
Office,
all
though. They all are like so similar to The Office. Like my other one is Parks and Rec,
It's just all
which
great
like
show.
awkward humor.
which is
Yeah.
just like almost exactly the same format as The Office. It just in a even Parks and Rec was supposed to be something else before it actually became Parks and Rec. It was originally going to be a spin-off show of The Office that they turned into their own separate show. It's created by like one of the people that were the writers of The Office and everything like that. So you can see why they're similar because they were supposed to be a spin-off. And I forget what it was supposed to be about. I think it was supposed to be about it had something to do with Dwight or something like that. Like
Um,
in his farming or something to that point.
Speaking of which, while we're here, the creator of The Office, who also plays Mose, has come out and said that he is in the process of writing like a new Office spinoff with some of the characters, and I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it. I know that it won't be as good. I know it
You know,
won't be
they
anything.
they actually I'm pretty sure they have and I don't remember if this was recent or if it was from the past, but they actually have a trailer or a video of the Dwight Schrute spin-off TV show that was supposed to be about Schrute Farms. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have, as far as I could see, I don't think it has any of the characters of The Office in it besides Dwight Schrute, as far as I know.
Yeah, there was also I forget his name, but the guy who plays Stanley, he was like on GoFundMe for a while trying to like raise money for his Uncle Stan spinoff where it's just him in like wherever he wanted to go in the show, like Puerto Rico or whatever.
I still
Shove it up
love
your
how
It's
butt.
not.
somehow love how the conversation still somehow steers back to The Office.
Well, we said we set aside a little bit of time. It's a
I
phenomenal
know,
show.
but I feel like
Um,
I don't think dude, I honestly don't think a spinoff would work. I think they would have to
no,
it'd have to be a full season of original cast of like a,
well, they're gonna remake it. Do you
like,
know that?
it has to be like after the fact. Cause like, you leave off and like you see Michael Scott and he's all old and he's got like a ton of grandkids and like it's gonna, I don't know how they would do
it's
it, but
it's not going to work. Half of the actors don't want to do it anymore. There can never be a continuation. It is perfect the way it is.
I mean, Michael Scott was already pretty old to begin with. He'd be pretty old. It depends on how many years have passed, I guess, because he had kids and
Well,
everything, even though he was already
yeah,
like in
and
his
they lean
40s or something like that.
they leaned completely into the okay, Michael's gone thing, and for the last two seasons, and we just yeah. Anyways,
As
we
much
really
as I
like The
loved it,
Office.
yeah.
We really like The Office, but we're here to talk about other shows.
Um,
So
other Other shows I like, which I'm pretty sure that I know at least one of you two, I forget who it was, if it was both of you or you were disagree with, was The Big Bang Theory. I can't remember which one it was, or both of you disagreed with the
We'll
fact that
have
it
to
was a good show.
we'll have to find out in the
Um,
dislikes.
It's not for me, but like I have
yeah, I knew.
reasons. I don't know.
Brooklyn Nine Nine, which I is another one of those that are like I forget if that one also was made or I'm pretty sure that one also has like Michael Schur or like made by uh him too. Game of
Fremulon.
Thrones. Game of Thrones. I besides the last season, absolutely loved. Psych, and my last one is Futurama. Absolutely love
Yeah.
Futurama. It's by far my and it's gonna it's going to kind of like it's gonna be kind of funny because I a point that I have later on in the podcast will kind of like make that seem weird. But those are my favorite shows. I mean, Big Bang. I don't know. I don't know what it is about the Big Bang Theory. Maybe it's just like a show about like a bunch of underdogs. I guess that kind of is good. Brooklyn Nine Nine was a show I just found like not even
Really?
a year ago.
Really?
Honestly,
You're already done it, I'm assuming.
I already watched it.
Like the whole thing?
Oh, I watched the whole entire thing in like 4 days,
Yeah,
three
I
days
exactly.
or
I
something like that.
cannot watch shows that like only release weekly or something.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I would much rather just waste an entire day of my life like watching one show.
Yeah.
that's why I like the streaming service one because the show has been like off the air for a little while now, and so I could just watch the entire thing. Every show that I've had on here, I watched after the fact
Like, well,
because I
like
haven't had cable in like 20 years. So
I'm a very big Marvel fan, and so they obviously Disney Plus releases those shows weekly, an episode weekly, and that's fine. But yeah, all the shows that I'm gonna bring up are ones that had access to the whole thing.
yeah, like Game of Thrones, loved Game of Thrones. I mean, it was kind of like except for the last season because the last season made zero sense. Daenerys' story. I don't know who watches Game of Thrones in here, but
Never
uh,
seen it.
Daenerys' storyline made no sense whatsoever. How you could go from somebody that their entire being was to save slaves and be the good person, and then some reason in the last season she just went off the rails and decided to kill everybody. I don't. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Mm.
Psych was just something that I don't know. I instantly loved. I don't know. There's something unique about it. I don't think I've seen a show like that before. Um, and USA Network at one time was like really churning out some good shows.
Isn't that who
Honestly,
had Law and Order,
yeah. Law and Order, Monk.
SVU,
They had
Mariska Hargitay?
um, Monk. They had. They had. I there was a show that I liked called Fairly Legal that came out a while ago, but that only lasted a little bit.
Fairly Legal does not sound good.
That
It's
sounds like a show that'll put you on a list somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, not Fairly
yeah.
Legal. I said.
It's like Barely Legal meets Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, Barely Legal is what made it. It's a lawyer show about a lady that's a lawyer. But and then Futurama, I just in my opinion, the best cartoon out there of all time. I'm sorry, I just absolutely love that show. I don't know what it is about it, but
It's so
it's
smart.
it
They're
is.
so smart. They'll make like a random science joke that you're like, I don't get that, and then you like look into it, and it took like serious research to pull that joke off.
And honestly, it's a very underrated show because there are a lot of people that don't think it's a very good cartoon or very good show. Period. And so I feel like it's also like a very underrated show too. Point, but that is my list of them. Like I could have gone on and on and on because there's a lot of shows that I watch, but I would say if I had to like put them up there, it would probably go like the top three would definitely be like How I Met Your Mother, Parks and Rec, and Futurama. Like those are by far like my three favorite of all of them. So,
Mm,
but besides The Office, which you kind of tied my hands behind my back there.
Well, luckily, The Office is the only overlap I have so far.
interesting.
Um,
Interesting.
I believe it though.
I do like Futurama, but I think I like it because it always came on after like there was a period of time where I was watching like the new South Park episodes, and I think Futurama was always on after that, and then you just kind of end up watching both of them. Um, but some of my favorite TV shows, my favorite one, at least from just sitting there and thinking about it, is Dexter, and not Dexter's Laboratory. It's
What?
Dexter.
Oh man,
He's
you lost me then.
Have either of you guys seen that show?
Nope, never
No,
seen
but
it.
my parents never shut up about it when it was on.
Basically, he's a blood spatter analyst for the Miami Police Department, but he's also a serial killer, and he's a serial killer that only kills serial killers. So basically, what he does is he like analyzes the crime scene, and he's way smarter than everyone else. So he figures out who committed the crime before the rest of the department does, and he'll like hide things from them, and he'll just kill them himself because he doesn't think that the justice system will take care of them the way they should.
I mean, I only hearing a little bit about that show, I was like, all right, it's a show about a serial killer. I have no interest in that, but honestly, hearing that, it does sound pretty interesting.
No, I mean, if it was him doing that and then going and eating a bowl of Fruit Loops or something, it would have been different. But you know,
I most people that I ask or mention the show to, they say they watched like the first couple seasons and gave up on it. It really like finds its footing in like I would say season 3 or 4. But yeah, I love that show. The way it originally ended was terrible, but since then they released a new season where he's kind of older and he like I'm not going to do any spoilers if anyone wants to watch it, but kind of brings it together, I suppose, and I think that was a good thing to do. Another one that's way up there for me is Breaking Bad.
you know,
I do love Breaking Bad. I even love Better Call Saul, which is kind of like a spin-off of Breaking
never
Bad.
saw that.
It's not as good, but I do think it's a good show. And then some other quick ones. I love Trailer Park Boys.
Never seen
It's like the
Canadian
dumbest show.
legend.
It's the
Canadian
dumbest
legends.
show in the entire world, but it's so funny. And I recently discovered that those guys have a podcast where they are their like Trailer Park Boys characters, and I love it so much.
Who's the like? I've never seen the show. I know they're Canadian legends or whatever, but like he's like always he's super fat and doesn't wear a shirt.
Oh, that's Randy, Cheeseburger
Okay,
Randy. Yeah, he's always
Cheeseburger
he's always
Cheeseburger
greasy.
Cheeseburger Randy is doing a comedy show at my local like small stage place here.
Okay, I don't. I mean, he's a funny character in the show, but like I don't think I've ever seen him outside of the show. So maybe that'd be
No, and
good. I don't know.
his comedy character is the guy from the show, so I don't know how good that would be.
Okay. Yeah, he's got a big old like keg belly that's always just like greased up, and in the show he has a love affair with the trailer park supervisor who's like this old man, and yeah, I don't know. It's a really dumb show, but I love it. Workaholics is another one of my favorites.
Yes, that's a good one.
Never seen it.
They had actually gotten the green light to make a movie. It was like a Workaholics based movie, and it ended up getting cut for whatever reason. So then they made that movie recently called I cannot think of it off the top of my head.
These all like Comedy Central shows or something.
I did watch a lot of Comedy Central back in the day.
It sounds
I don't know. I'll think of that Game Over Man. I think that's the name of it. Anyways, the last one I have is Metalocalypse,
Never heard of it.
which is like an old Adult Swim TV
I
show.
know of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know of it, but I never watched it before.
it's like a metal band. I think they're from Sweden, but they just like the whole premise of the show is that they're the most brutal band in the whole world, and they actually make like real music in real life, and it's like the guys that make the show write the music and everything. So it's
Guess
It's
that
pretty
makes sense for you. That
yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
makes sense
that
for
makes a
you.
lot of sense for you.
And we definitely have different tastes in TV, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
The
actually
the How I Met Your Mother one, I have seen that a couple times through, and it's a really good show. I do like it.
yeah, like, but I mean, like, as far as the like your Dexter one you were talking about though, like, honestly, like you talked about how a lot of people watched the first couple seasons and gave up on it or whatever. Um, honestly, a lot of that can also, I hate to come back to it, but a lot of that can also be said about The Office as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, honestly, it took until probably season 3 for it to really get its legs and really become like my favorite show. I could honestly skip the entire first season entirely. Uh,
Just the fiance's never seen it before, so we're going through the whole Office when I'm home with her, and we're through season 2 and 3, and they were phenomenal. But we skipped season 1 altogether because I wanted to keep her watching. Um,
That's
we
because
went
like the
we
British
went
humor
back
just doesn't match, is
we went
why.
back for 2 things. I showed her the, Diversity Day because you just have to watch it because
Oh,
even
I
though it's
love
so bad,
Diversity
and
Day.
I had to
Oh,
show her the basketball episode.
oh my gosh. Yes. It's just because they literally went almost word for word with the British version in the first season.
Mhm.
And everybody, like most people know that the British humor just doesn't translate to American audiences. So
Yeah,
like by Michael Scott acting like a dick basically the entire first season, that kind of stuff it
it
really
was just Ricky
works.
Gervais, yeah.
Yeah, works over and for British audiences, it Americans just don't like
Well,
a person like that for the
and they
most part.
that's so if you notice, they changed a lot of things, obviously, from season 1 to season 2. One of the things was that Michael Scott couldn't end an episode putting someone down. So
Uh,
if you know, he'll always if they're, like, deep down or whatever, like, there's one episode we were watching, like, he's being pretty bad, and then he, like, shows up at Pam's art show and, like, hugs her or
oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
He will never end an episode putting a cast member or, like, a member down, so there's a lot of
I
things, but
Yeah, like that's kind of how it is as far as like the Dexter. Like I can understand if people watch the first couple seasons, sometimes it just takes time for the show to actually find its place a little bit, and so that's why
yeah.
like a lot of times, if I really want to watch a show, I will kind of power through the first couple of seasons, even if I don't like it, just to see if it eventually finds its footing, because I know that's exactly how The Office was.
The other problem with Dexter is the episodes are an hour long, so like the seasons are
Oh,
pretty long.
oh,
So, yeah.
I don't have
How
that
many
much time in the
episodes per
day.
season?
What'd you say?
How many episodes per season?
I'd have to look it up. I don't know.
A
If
lot.
it's like probably a lot, probably like 20. Is what around the standard is around there.
They just start
Mhm.
like the later seasons. They develop. There's always one huge serial killer that he's trying to get, and like they develop better ones as time goes along. Like there's one season where John Lithgow plays one, and
Oh.
he's like a churchy nice guy, but he beats the shit out of his kid, and like he builds homes for like less fortunate people, but he buries all the dead bodies in the concrete. So
So I mean, it balances each other out. Then the good with the bad, I guess.
I mean, they make you feel like you're always on Dexter's side, even though he kills people, but he's like killing the scum of the earth, you know? So like
I mean,
it's
it's almost like crime fighters and stuff like a Batman. So even though they don't kill people, they're still breaking the law and still doing bad.
oh,
You
big
know,
time, yeah.
but they're doing it for the good of the community and the good of the world, so people overlook it type thing.
Yeah.
So what about you, Raptor?
Well, so I have a lot, and I'm gonna overlap a lot with one of you, and not at all with the other one.
That's okay.
I mean, it's obviously going to be me because I understand your humor, and I just feel like
So
you're
right off the back, I'll get the big ones out of the way. Like I love Parks and Rec. I love Brooklyn Nine Nine. I really love Futurama. They just came out with a new season, and it's atrocious. But all the
really.
new
I haven't actually watched
oh,
it yet.
it's so bad. It's all
Oh,
like every single episode is way too like relevant, but they're coming out too late. Um,
oh, it's one of those.
like there's an episode where they go like real life crypto mining, but like they actually go mining for real crypto, and I'm like, that would have been funny a little
I
while
loved how
ago.
the series ended. I should have just let it go. Like I loved
There
how
was
the series ended.
Oh, that was such a nice ending.
Yes.
Um, so I love Futurama. Um, I've seen a lot of Family Guy, but I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the Family Guy guy. That's a
The Family
degenerate.
Guy.
A degenerate person says that that's their favorite TV show. Um,
I mean, I like it, but it definitely isn't.
in more very specific ways, I've seen How I Met Your Mother. I absolutely adore it. Besides that ending, um,
Why do
your
endings always have to be so messed up?
your
I
mother
don't even
died.
remember the ending of that one, to be
The
honest.
so the ending was he's telling this entire story of how he met their mother, and then he's like, "Okay, after all this, here's who your mother was," and then they're like, "Oh yeah, also she's dead." So I'm
He
telling you this whole
died.
story. She's dead, so I'm out telling you this whole story. If I could ask you, can I date Robin?
I think
Yikes.
you're kind of Aunt Robin, but not really Aunt Robin.
Yeah, your Aunt Robin. Can I date her? That's why I've been telling you how I met your mother, your
And
biological mother, who's
and
dead.
nobody will ever be able to get past the reasoning, and me at the same time are kind of like will always be as like, why was Bob Saget the voice this entire time when
Yeah.
it clearly was not even close to Ted's actual voice? Like, why? Like, I could see him being like a narrator, but why the heck would you have it
But like
be the
Was it
Lily,
actually?
it was Bob Saget.
yes?
It's
It was
totally him.
Bob
What?
Saget. Bob Saget was the voice of Ted, like in like the talking parts for
Yeah.
the entire show, which made no
Um
sense because eventually they were going to have to get to the point where they showed Ted talking to his kids, and it wasn't going to be Bob Saget.
what was I gonna say? Oh, side note, like Lily, Marshall, and Barney are just phenomenal side characters.
Absolutely,
Oh, I love them. I would
I,
die
I
for them.
I feel like they're like the best mix of an ensemble cast for a
Also,
comedy show.
another Canadian legend. I'm not afraid to admit it. My celebrity crush is Colby Smulders, and I'm
I
not upset about it.
love Colby Smulders. Something about her, man.
Weird way to say
I
that
get
right
it.
after I say celebrity crush.
Like I get it though, man. I 100% get it
I
though
don't.
with her though. Like there's some.
Anyways,
Plus,
those
she's
are
also
the
Maria Hill. Does that help into it
yeah
at all?
that not at all. I prefer Robin, but yeah, those are the obvious ones. Deep Take. I don't know if they still make episodes. I don't care. I will never watch anything new. From my childhood, I'm a big Stargate SG-1 fan. If you know, or it's just Stargate in general, but Stargate SG-1 was the main one I would watch.
Is that the one that had like MacGyver on it?
I don't know. I was too young to know the people.
That's. I think that's the guy that had that used to play MacGyver. On that was like one of the main characters. I could just the only reason I remember watching like seeing like the box art or something for it somewhere.
Yeah, every single you have to remember I was young, but every single night my parents and I would sit down in the basement, we'd crank out a couple 45-minute episodes of Stargate. Only SG-1 and only my Stargate fans know this. Like there's other different Stargates. SG-1's right there. You got these like I don't remember any of the lore, but you got these little aliens that like burrow into people's heads. But then you got Teal, their alien who was like now a good oh beautiful. Um
All I heard was he
on the
was cranking it to Stargate with his parents in the basement.
yeah.
That's
Um,
kind of odd show to do that to when it's about like space or is it about
yeah.
space or something?
It's about space. Well, they have like a big star gate that they like set the dial to, and then they can go to different. I don't know if it's space or time. I haven't seen it in
Yeah.
so long, but like it's just such a important part of my childhood.
Literally, the only thing I can remember is that the guy from MacGyver is on there. That's it. Uh,
um, so the another one is you're not going to know this either. Another one I used to watch is called Grimm.
I remember the name of it.
Pretty much there are a bunch of monsters living in our world, and only the certain few can see them. That's about it. Pretty much it was just my excuse to watch a show about like werewolves and stuff like that.
Is it a
Um,
cartoon or a?
no, it's live action. I
Oh,
honestly might want to. I might watch the entire thing over again. Beautiful show.
I don't know that one.
trying to think here. I think that's little um little current thing. I just finished the second season of Reacher. I don't know if either of you've seen it.
I watched a few episodes with Riley, but I don't know if she ever finished it.
It is probably the best media that I've consumed in a long time. Um, the whole premise is that the main character is a guy the size of Pritch, but who's actually like ripped instead of the size of Pritch. Um,
I I have a real tough
Oh,
time watching that
dude.
actor in anything, and
because
I
of why? Because I have a
because
tough
of
time
Blue
too.
Mountain State.
Yeah, I have a tough time too. But he's different now. It's different.
I mean,
It's just one
I
of
would
those
say like there
things.
is, yeah, there is sometimes hard to like picture a character as somebody else when you've seen them on something. Like there are definitely times where I've had that problem before.
Yeah, but
I mean,
Brooklyn
shows
Nine
that I've seen recently though are like Wednesday was a pretty good show
would
on
never
Netflix.
watch it.
Um, and then I just got done watching like the first season or whatever of the Ted TV show, which is pretty good actually.
I
It's not
watched
bad.
I watched 2 episodes of it, and I was like, "This is worse than the movie somehow." And I
It's all right. I mean, it's not that bad. I was glad that they had Seth MacFarlane still as Ted at least.
you know what bothers me is nobody's weirded out about a stuffed teddy bear just walking around and talking and like,
Yeah, I don't. I'm not. I like the movie, but I'm just not down for the
are
for
we
the
gonna
TV
sit
show.
here and act like if that was a real thing that everyone on planet Earth would just know about it and be like, "Oh, you're that thing." Like, "Oh, what's
Oh
up?"
no, I mean, honestly, if it were real life, he'd probably be ripped apart by scientists or something like that by now.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Anything
Maybe
like
by
that
the
would be
government.
killed instantly and dissected and studied. Anything.
Ooh, couple newer shows. I probably you guys probably haven't seen this, Mr. Robot.
Nope.
I
It's,
know about it, but I just have never
he's
seen it.
he's a like computer hacker whole thing. Just I don't know. I like to watch it and pretend like I know what's happening, I suppose. Um and Jack Ryan, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan with
S-
uh
John Krasinski.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Should I
Is that
watch
a
it?
TV show? I thought that was a movie.
Should I watch it?
It's a TV show. I am not someone that typically likes extreme science fiction military type shit, and I actually really like that show. But I also
What's
like
it
to
on?
uh Prime.
I don't have Prime. So.
I also like to pretend that, Jim Halpert divorced Pam and just kind of like
It's
disappeared off the
terrible.
face of the earth, and like that's his
I just,
his second thing.
I just, I just want to mention quickly that How thankful are we that they never went with a divorcing storyline in The Office because they were
Oh,
Yeah.
supposed to. They
do
were the
you
Mike.
I was listening to the Office podcast, the Office Ladies podcast, and they yeah, that was a talking point, but in the last season they wanted to have like a something that was, breaking them apart kind of thing, but like they gave the reins to Jenna Fisher and John Krasinski to make up their mind, and they were 100%. There was no chance that they were gonna, even though it was like on the table from the person that created it and the writers, they would never allow it to happen. Like they never wanted them to get divorced, and it was
Guys, we've come back to
so.
The Office like 6 times.
I know,
I
I
but
feel
know,
you
I
like
know.
can't.
Maybe it's time to go to a more just like
well, the
dividing.
game, I think it's like 5 or 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Like,
Yeah,
is there
six
gonna
degrees.
it's gonna be like
So
6 degrees of The Office or something? Like,
oh, dude, I could play that. I could do that easily, easily, no problem. I mean, Steve Carell makes up the majority of how many people he's been with in other movies and stuff like that.
yeah.
Would be a simple
Ooh, Ed
game
Helm
back.
too. He's been in a
Ed
ton.
Ed
Helm, yeah.
Helm's been in a ton
Yeah.
too. Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of people that I mean, because Jenna Fisher was with Will Ferrell as well.
Yeah,
Connected to
but
Will
they
Ferrell.
got D'Angelo out of there really quickly because he was not going to fit the story.
I mean, just
Anyways,
you,
anyways,
you connecting Will Ferrell to a bunch of people.
anyways, The Office aside, we like really Shadow and I like really good shows, and Pritch likes his shows. So I think we can go on to a more
I
decisive topic
You
here.
know, what it comes down to, I cannot stand pop culture. So if I'm like on social media and everyone's like, "Oh my god, the latest season of Game of Thrones was so good." I'm like, "I'm not fucking watching that, dude."
Yeah.
I don't
So you
like
watch it
things
just in spite of.
I don't like things other people like. So it's just like I don't know why I'm not going to waste my time, I guess. I don't know.
Like that's kind of a weird thing because you could be missing out on a great show just because you don't want to watch something that's popular. I feel like that's kind of,
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I
I
guess like
get it,
Breaking
but
Bad falls into that category, but like
Breaking Bad was really popular. Yeah,
and
Mm, but I wouldn't say it was popular as it was like as popular at coming out as it is now.
I mean, neither was The Office.
Yeah,
well
that's
They,
true.
and I
they
didn't
were worried about getting canceled every single season.
I don't think I watched The Office until 7 years ago, maybe.
Streaming services is what really brought that
Yeah.
to a new audience. But on their podcast, they talk about they literally didn't know from year to year if they were going to get canceled every single year. So
I don't know.
yeah,
I'm
Oh,
just an asshole. Sorry, guys.
yeah, that's okay. We know
true.
that.
It's okay. We still love you anyways. You know.
Now channel that going into the next topic or second topic here of now we're going to start with TV shows that don't deserve the love that they get. And I'm going to start this one off because I'm opinionated about this. There's a lot of 90s 2000s shows that we hold really in really high regard, and I think that there's one that people are in love with that doesn't deserve it what it gets.
I can almost guess what it is.
um
I would
and
try
I
to
think
guess, but I have that opinion about like every show from that time. So
yeah, so Friends sucks.
yeah. Yeah, it
Knew
Friends
does.
it. That's exactly what I was gonna guess that you were gonna say.
Friends is not a good show. Like the funniest thing that came out of that entire show is the pivot meme. Like that's it. Um
Like as soon as you
like
said '90s, I was like, he's picking Friends.
I just like think
There's
back to
nobody funny in that show.
nobody funny. I think back to my best friend's mom growing up and all she would do, she would never shut up about Friends. And I'm like, it's not funny.
I mean,
Like
there's a hot young Jennifer Aniston. That's about all it has going for it. Like
I mean,
I
Joey
she's still sorry.
yeah, I know.
Beside the point.
like I think that in their little bubble, I don't even know their names. The three guys are like decent to me, decently funny. Like they're not
I've
that
watched
bad.
all of the episodes.
But like as a show that they don't nobody's funny. Like I just
Well, the only one I ever thought was really funny was Chandler.
Chandler, is that
That's
um
David Schwimmer, tall, goofy guy.
No, that's not Chandler.
no.
Oh
I'm
no, I'm
definitely
wrong.
wrong.
I'm wrong. That
Chandler
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Chandler's
was
the one that just went for a swim in his hot tub
Matthew
recently.
Perry.
yeah,
Yeah.
Matthew
Yeah.
Perry plays
Yeah.
Chandler. I thought Chandler was funny. I mean,
I
personally, but
I'm yeah, I
Ross
forget
is one of the most annoying characters ever.
oh man, just you gonna love someone or you gonna not love someone? Like figure it out.
That whole
Like,
storyline. Even though I did like Friends, I'm not gonna lie. I 100% agree that it's doesn't deserve as much as it gets.
okay,
Even though I
now
like the show,
we all hate Friends, so
I
liking The
not
Office,
that far.
you hate Friends, and that's liking The Office and hating Friends are just like the things that we get out of the way right away.
It's too bad we don't have a
Side note,
Twitter. We could put a poll out.
side note, I'm
Uh,
going back to The Office, and you might think why. I'm just gonna pick out a little point of The Office that I hate and I despise, and I think did not add to the show at all. There's lots of parts of the last two seasons, but I hate Andy and Angela's relationship. What was the purpose of that? Angela and Dwight were happy. Why did you add that in?
Because you
Oh,
can't let them be happy all the time is why they're always in every TV show there always has to be some kind of like tell me I'm wrong though. In every TV show and comedy, nobody ever stays happy the whole time. For some reason, they feel like they always need to throw in some like
and
roadblock and
like
somehow it makes their relationship stronger in the end. Tell me that like most TV shows aren't exactly like that.
that's fine. After it happens, after they break up officially, they never speak about it again. They in the entire last few seasons, they never speak about it
Not
again.
true.
I think what
They
they
don't
That's not true. They do.
they don't speak about it again. The one time someone says, "Andy, you dated 2 people in the office." That's it.
Nope, that's not true. You're missing an episode. There
I
was a
know.
big stink about it when he was with Aaron.
Oh, yeah, I guess, and then but, like, then she goes off and dates the governor,
That,
and then,
that's the
like,
reason
eventually
that
gets back with Dwight. Like, I
that's the
don't
reason that Aaron broke up with him.
Oh, and the governor, the senator,
the
The, sen-
senator,
the
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 state
gay
senator,
senator,
homosexual senator.
the
Yeah,
the
homosexual
state
senator.
senator.
I think what they had to do, because like you're made aware of Angela and Dwight's thing, but it's like a secret from everyone except like Jim and Pam have like they kind of are in the know. They had to create some sort of tension in another way to have this like come about to where I think everyone figures it out. And I just think Angela dating other people was how they had to do that. Because like who's
Like
gonna date Dwight other than and then Angela?
Yeah.
like I said, I mean, I've definitely watched more Office than both you. For like, there's no way nobody's watched more. And yeah, that was the reason that Andy and Aaron broke up. Because Aaron found out.
Erin is like the typical like every dumb girl I've ever met in my entire
I didn't
life.
like any of Andy's relationships. I thought Andy, in general, like his relationships were stupid. To be honest,
Yeah.
to me, none of them made sense. I didn't even think he was that great of a character. As you know,
All right, well,
to be
Raptor, do you have anything else besides Friends sucks? Like,
Yes, sorry,
we got
what is
back
it
to the
called?
office again.
not that that's a
No, not
bad point. I'm just,
no, what's it called? Rick and Morty sucks. Rick and
oh,
Morty
you
is not
took one of mine.
Rick and Morty is not funny. You can just piggyback off of this. I'll just say it quickly, and you can say what your point.
Yeah.
Like, I was listening to a D&D podcast the other day, and they got transformed into pop culture characters. You would have hated it, but one guy got transformed into Pickle Rick, and he's like, "Ah, I have to be funny," even though, and he's just talking about how like the fan base of Rick and Morty is not all bad, but like the majority of Rick and Morty fans are not good people,
They're
and like I feel like
insufferable.
insufferable Pickle Rick.
Yeah,
It
um,
becomes their personality.
yeah.
I
Um,
agree. I can
I'll
agree
let
with that one.
I'll let you talk a little bit more on that. I think it's a dumb show, but like, oh yeah, we got to solve this problem. But me, Rick Sanchez, I already solved it off screen, and now, of course, in my sarcastic way, I'm going to tell you how I already solved it. Like, cool. But I had another one, but I'll think about it while you guys talk, and if I can figure it out, then we'll
Well,
go with that. But
so
Rich, you take us.
when Shadow said Big Bang Theory,
That was it.
I have a similar opinion where I just think it's people that think they're really smart but they're not really love both
Mhm.
those shows. I'm not saying that you're not smart and like that's why you like that show.
Mine is
But
more because they're the underdogs, not because they're actually like having anything to do with the actual science of it. I just like you think about a four group of like underdogs, kind of. I don't know.
yeah,
It's kind of nice.
I could see
Yeah.
that. I just
Science wise, I don't really care, honestly.
I don't know. Like I understand some of the humor in both those shows and like I get why people like them, but it's not for me personally. I don't like to
Yeah,
make
that
people feel
I
bad
mean,
about their
we've heard the
media
shows you
choices.
like. There ain't a lot for you.
Oh, fuck
Plus, that
off.
movie, plus that TV show was popular, so heaven forbid Pritch ever liked that show.
You gotta
no,
real smart people watch shit as dumb as Trailer Park Boys, okay?
yeah, exactly. No, I'm sorry. That was my other point that I feel the exact same way about Rick and Morty as I do about The Big Bang Theory. So you can continue with that.
Yeah.
Two science things you guys went together on. I'm freaking like I didn't I didn't mind Rick and Morty, but I didn't find it like that it deserved to be like one of the top television shows or something like that. I don't know. I think it was just because they were just outrageous, kind of in a way, and that's the kind of stupid humor that people like these days. They don't actually like. I feel like most people now, or there's a good group of people that don't really care about a storyline. They just care about like them acting like assholes and being crazy and doing stupid things. But I mean, at least Big Bang had a storyline. Like I said, science had nothing to do with it. My love of the Big Bang Theory, honestly.
I also
Mhm.
find Sheldon as a character incredibly annoying.
Oh, name one person that is like a normal human being that also likes young Sheldon.
I've never watched it.
Riley watched that show. I don't know if she liked it or not.
I hope she didn't like it.
I don't know.
I have not watched it at all. I don't
I
know. I was always afraid that it was gonna like taint my vision of like the Big Bang Theory itself.
taint.
Big Bang.
A show that I think is incredibly overhyped is The Walking Dead.
I love The Walking.
If you
Well, but
watch like the first 4 or 5 seasons, is there any reason to watch beyond that?
I agree with that. I will agree. I mean, after Glenn died, I stopped watching.
Glenn dies? Spoiler.
I don't care.
I mean, it's been a while. If you haven't figured
been
that
a
out,
long
I don't
time.
think you're
It's
going to
been
watch the
long
show.
Plus, it was such a popular show that if you didn't hear about it in one way or another in social media, then I don't know.
I can't do zombies. I can't do it. So I'll never watch it. So we're good.
I think that's the other problem is zombies are it's not so bad
They're
now.
popular.
But
They're a popular thing.
They're way overdone.
But I think that Walking Dead was one of the first ones that did a TV show that were really revolved around that. Now it's just, like now I see it's
Shadow,
oversaturated.
you've seen all of Walking Dead, right?
No,
No. Okay.
I have
You've
not.
seen the first little bit?
I literally after Glenn died, I was so furious that I stopped watching it.
Okay, so that's okay. You've seen enough for me to tell the story. I can't like do zombies in any form. Like for some, I can play Call of Duty Zombies, and I really love that. But besides that, I can't do zombies so much that like when I started the show and he like leaves the hospital and he's hiding under the car and he sees the little girl and he pops up and the little girl's a gross zombie. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm never watching that ever again. Like I couldn't do past there.
Why though? What is this scary to you
I'm
or like
I'm absolutely I'm not scared of
too real?
water, sharks, height, um, claustrophobic, nothing. I'm petrified of zombies.
What
I
about
can't do it.
Shaun of the Dead?
I'm scared of the zombies in it, but it's worth it.
God, I love that movie. I wish I would have mentioned that in our movies episode.
It's such a good movie.
Oh man,
Hot
Oh,
Fuzz too. But
Like
yes,
but yeah, the Walking Dead because I've also pretty much read all of the comic book of The Walking Dead, and
you play the
so
video game.
the Telltale version, which was the good one.
Yeah.
Other than that, all the rest of them suck horribly. Um, because of how the comic book was so good, but it would never. I mean, had they had translated that to TV, it would have been like I don't even know if there's a station that could have done that. Honestly, it was so ridiculous. Like, not bad as in a bad way, but bad as in like the things that happen. But when they killed off Glenn, the reason that I stopped watching it was because Glenn was like the only one of two, I think, of the only deaths that they kept the same as the comic book. Like everybody else, they kept alive for some reason. They killed off other characters instead because for reasons, and then for some reason they decided to kill Glenn off when he was like one of the best characters in the show. But people had some mad love for Daryl. I think Daryl's an okay character, but he wasn't better than Glenn. But after that, I stopped watching. So I mean, I'll agree with you as far as it probably shouldn't get as much love. Definitely after season 5 or whatever season Glenn died.
What kind of an idiot uses a bow as their main primary weapon in a zombie apocalypse? Can you answer that question for me?
I mean, it's quiet. I get it. Like
it's the zombies hear everything. It has nothing to do with how quiet it is.
I don't think zombies have supersonic hearing, but like if
I
you're
think
gonna
they
go with
do.
a weapon that's quiet, then I mean, what other weapon are you gonna use that's quiet and effective? That
Yeah.
I guess
It's
I
just
can see it.
that show turned into another show I did like for a period of time was Prison Break.
Never watched.
Prison Break, they break out of prison, they go back to prison, they break out of prison. And The Walking Dead is
Really?
like The Walking Dead's like, "Oh, we found this really nice place where we can live the rest of our lives." Just kidding. We need to go somewhere else. oh dang, we found this awesome place, so we're gonna live here for the rest of our lives. Oh shoot, we gotta go somewhere else. Like it's
That's why I
Mhm.
prefer the comic book more. I mean, a lot of people will always be like, that's how it is for a lot of shows, but the comic book was so much better and so much more well done. But like I said, you couldn't adapt that to TV. It would have been rated
Yeah.
something.
I shouldn't even
That's,
be able to use that as a point because in the Trailer Park Boys, they just go to jail and they get out of jail and they try to find a way to make a bunch of money and then they go back to
I mean,
jail again. Like
yeah,
it's
like that's the thing. How many TV shows have to use that? I mean, you can only,
Just need a little more money.
but yeah. Um, I don't know. As far as mine are concerned, number one for me, which I will never understand why that's good and why people like it, is Seinfeld. I never found Seinfeld funny. I found all their characters really annoying. I tried to
Dun,
watch
dun,
it.
dun, 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 dun,
Don't
dun,
find
dun.
don't find Jerry Seinfeld funny in the show or in real life. Away from the show, I don't find him funny in the least bit. Honestly, if I had to say that to me was a million times worse than Friends, as far as like nobody in that was funny at all. They were more annoying than anything.
I
So
just
I
hate
never
old
understood it.
sitcoms.
Yeah, like I never understood why people like hold Seinfeld so high. I thought it was like one of the worst comedy shows. I tried to watch it. I really did, and I just couldn't do it. And I think the only episode that I really ended up watching was their final episode of all time, which had probably one of the stupidest endings of all time as well. I mean, the ending is just that they end up in a jail cell. That was their ending of the TV show.
Prison Break.
Uh, I mean, I really like Seinfeld.
I just don't find them funny, and I don't find Jerry Seinfeld funny. I don't see
That's,
what's. I don't know. I
oh,
don't find.
that's fine. It's. I'm not gonna act like it would. It's for everybody. I agree.
Um, other ones that may be controversial. think that I think that The Simpsons get more love than they should, and only because feel like they should have ended their show a long time ago.
Yeah.
I can agree.
Honestly, I think the dragging on of their show have made it less and less funny.
Hey,
And
but their video games are bangers.
oh yeah, Hit and Run,
Hit and Run is so good.
honestly, one of the best. But I think that they're one of those shows that just keep on wanting, and that's why I said like that being one of the shows I don't deserve love. When Futurama is one of the ones I think do deserve love. But The Simpsons, I think if they would have ended theirs like long time ago, I would have a better opinion of it. But the longer that they drag on, and the longer that people still think it's a good show somehow, when I just don't see it, I really, really don't.
Are they still making The
Um,
Simpsons?
yes,
Holy crap.
they still are making The
That's got to be
Simpsons.
like one of the longest running TV shows, isn't it?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Another one is SpongeBob. No,
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to see if I could go.
disrespectful.
I was just going to see that. I just wanted to see how appalled Pritch would get.
My wife
if
would
I
never
said-
talk to you again.
Oh, I know she would not. I know, and I would never. No, SpongeBob is definitely not. I
Very
love
good.
SpongeBob.
Um.
For me,
We're
those
yeah.
Suits is the other one. I
Oh,
don't
sorry. I was gonna say I love Suits, but yeah.
really. You were going to say that.
Oh, I love Suits. Yeah.
I don't like it because. Okay, I'll tell you what I don't like about it, and I've is that at first the show is good. Like for the first, I don't know how many seasons, the show is really good. Then the character development of it gets really horrible. The
Yeah.
story just keeps on repeating itself over and over again. It's like, oh, Mike is okay. Oh, then somebody might find out that he's not a lawyer. Oh, then he's okay. Oh,
It
then
literally.
somebody might
It
find out that.
Yeah. It literally. I will admit the entire show is just he didn't go to Harvard, but now it's okay. He didn't go to Harvard, but now it's okay.
And um, and also don't like that one. The point that I got in the show, there's no like okay, I like how there's a lot of episodes that have like high points to them and high points, but like there's so many episodes in a row that don't have like a time to kind of settle in at all. It's kind of just like problem, bigger problem, bigger, like stacked on top of each other. And I think that like nothing ever gets actually settled in there. Like what's his what is the kind of bad guy's name in that show?
Like the other lawyer there.
Yeah,
I don't remember
what's
his
his name?
name.
Uh, I actually really like his character, but they kept on going back and forth between good guy, bad guy, good guy,
Yeah.
bad guy, good guy. I mean, he played a really good bad guy. They should either kept him that way, and then he also did a really good job of being a like when he kind of came around, and then the very next episode they were like something else that made him all pissy and turned him into a bad guy again. I just don't like how like they didn't even keep like a single storyline going for very long.
Yeah,
It was always, oh, worry about Mike. Don't have to worry about Mike. Worry about Mike. Don't have to worry about like that's the entire freaking thing, and it just really started to annoy me, and I stopped watching. Like had they had
that's fair.
had they had actually kept a storyline like where Mike was okay for a while, and then it was but it was literally episode by episode. It was like, oh, finally we figured out that problem of how to make sure that nobody finds out that he's didn't go to Harvard. Then the very next episode they were like, oh my gosh, somebody just found out, or how are we going to prevent them from that's I don't know,
Yeah.
to me.
No, I agree. I agree.
And then I know that like we didn't have it as a thing, but my one underrated TV show. I know we didn't have like an underrated thing, but underrated show that has bothered me for years that they canceled it was I don't know if any of you guys have watched this TV show, but it's called Pushing Daisies.
Nope.
It was an old TV show. It's not really an old TV show. It's not even really that really super old, but it was about a kid that finds out he can bring back the dead for a minute, and so he creates his own. When he grows up, he creates his own detective company where people dies, and he goes in and brings back the dead for a minute to find out what happens, and it becomes like a big detective thing. It was such a freaking good show, and I'm so mad that they canceled it. I
Side
bought all the
note:
seasons of it.
if you could bring back one dead person, who would it be?
What, dude? Who in the
I
heck would you
can't.
possibly?
I can't think of that. Right.
Wow. That was. Do you have one?
No,
I
absolutely not.
Okay. I have. Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say
Would it be forever, or would it just be for 1 minute?
Just like a day. Like you can hang out with them for a day.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
The
Well,
sad
like,
thing is that it can't be anybody that you really like, because it would be so hard to bring them back from the dead and then immediately have to watch them die
okay,
again.
okay. So no, sorry. We're gonna go to our community question right now because I don't want to say sad things. Yeah. So, this week our community question is from my good friend Mario. I don't think you guys know him. He's part of Mez's Discord a lot,
It's
but
a
he
me.
he asks, "What is our top list of Saturday morning cartoons?" Um, I
Yu-Gi-Oh.
will I will say this right now. I did not have cable growing up, and then by the time I did, Saturday cartoons were a thing of the past for me. So I don't have a lot of things, but
God, Shadow, we're so old. Okay.
I know, like, dude.
Yu-Gi-Oh! It was like my all-time. Dude, I'd watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Every weekend.
I mean, that was even past probably my time. I mean, but I did love Yu-Gi-Oh! That I
he was
loved the
just
show. I
he was just
still
30
have.
when he watched it.
No, definitely not that old. But like, I own a lot of the DVDs of it.
Joey Wheeler.
I've watched all the from season 1 to I don't even know what past Battle City.
I play my Red Eyes Black Dragon.
Red Eyes Black Dragon. Red Eyes Black Dragon. I freaking love that show though. But mine, like, I have a list. Mine were like, the Ninja Turtles were big back in my day. Darkwing Duck. Tiny Toon Adventures was really big. Goof Troop was another really good one, and the Magic School Bus were like my top ones in my list. I
Dude.
mean, besides the Ninja Turtles, probably none of the other ones. I don't even know if you guys know any of the other ones.
Miss
Magic School Bus?
Miss Frizzle's kind of hot. Yeah.
I mean, she's
A little
underrated
bit,
hot.
Yeah.
Underrated hot, yeah. Like, but yeah, the Magic School Bus was really good. Darkwing Duck was really cool. The Goof Troop was probably one of my favorite shows of all time. I mean, as far as like when I was a kid. So like those were my big Saturday morning cartoons, and those are the ones that I can remember watching. I'm sure there were others that I watched but that was probably the only time that I woke up early to watch.
Can we I want to circle back to the Magic School Bus real quick. Have you watched that show as an adult yet?
No,
No.
didn't they like remake it or made more episodes or something like that? Just not that long ago.
I don't know, but it becomes slightly inappropriate as an adult, and there's certain sections that'll make you laugh because they'll be like exploring someone's butthole, and they're just like it's just I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
remember there's a specific scene that I remember, like, and they go down the tunnel of the intestine, and they, like, get to a part where there's just, like, the drop off, which is just, like, the rectum, whatever,
Yeah.
and they're just, like there's just poop. There's just poop falling. It's just falling.
There's some hidden adult humor in there, and Riley and I watched it. I wouldn't say recently, but like in the last year or two, and I think both of us were laughing most of the time.
Kitties, we're now passing into the testicles. We don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I can see that though. Like as a kid, that kind of stuff just flies right over your head. You just think you're learning about the human anatomy. You know, it's fun. Yeah, but no, I loved that show back in the day, honestly. But yeah, I could see as an adult it would probably be a little weird.
I can't
Yeah,
say I was much of a Saturday morning cartoon person other than like Yu-Gi-Oh, and I think Pokemon would always be on. But like at that time, Pokemon seemed like reruns because just the same episodes all the time.
Mm, yeah, I definitely knew mine. Most of mine, you guys wouldn't know because they were a little bit before your. I mean, Raptor wouldn't know just because he didn't have TV, even if he was able to know what that is.
I am 12.
They didn't even have
But
TV in Canada until like
yeah,
1995, so
Yeah, I wasn't
they were
born
still
yet,
doing
so
sock puppets.
hey, whoa, whoa, whoa! There were some great puppet shows on TV when I was a kid, on the educational channel, which is one of the only ones we had.
He's entertained by the cardboard box with his mom like doing
Oh,
puppets and
they're
stuff like
gone.
that. Oh,
Raptor's trying to break his headphones.
yeah, so he doesn't have to talk about the fact that he had no TV as a kid.
For me, this is a throwback. So this was on one of the like three channels I had. I would love to get up and watch Jackie Chan Adventures. I
What?
love
Oh
yes,
my god, that's
I
funny.
loved
I
that show.
remember that show.
Is that
Absolute
show
phenomenal.
like secretly racist?
No, it's Jackie Chan. He
No,
plays.
it's
It's
not.
voiced by him.
Right, but
Yeah,
he has like a really
exactly.
thick accent. So like if it's
No,
not written correctly, it can kind of come off as racist. So it's
I
I
think
mean, it's actually him doing it. So I mean, if it was like a white guy voicing Jackie
most of the
Chan, like
characters. I don't know. Most of the characters are Asian. It doesn't come like to me. It doesn't come off as racist.
yeah, I
but
mean, since it's him actually voicing it, I mean,
yeah. Jackie Chan Adventures is really good. There was a lot of educational shows that I would watch that you guys would not know. They were like specifically Canadian. I'm gonna name a few. There's Mama Yama. There was
this just sounds Canadian. So
the s- there's the Backyardigans. I think you guys know. There's the
I've heard of the
super
Backyardigans.
super pet friends. There's yeah. Anyways, a lot of things that you guys wouldn't know because you're not Canadian and you're also old as dirt.
hey,
I mean, even so, like that definitely just sounds like Canadian TV.
Oh yeah, well it's the Canadian education. It's PBS. What do you want from me? Oh, Dragon Tales, great show.
Oh yeah, I know Dragon Tales
Dragon
because
Tales.
I've had nieces and nephews. So
I wasn't actually allowed to watch SpongeBob until because my mom thought it was evil.
I hate that
Uh,
like you're naming all these shows that my sister watched when she was a kid and she's 5 years younger than me.
yeah, yeah, I'm younger than her,
It's all the same.
nobody
so
they weren't They weren't Saturday morning cartoons, but I mean, how many of you watched Blue's Clues?
it was
Oh
a great show.
I
yeah.
was I was young when Blue's Clues was on, so that and
how
Rugrats.
how is my 17-year-old sister? Rich, I'm 25. Oh, you're still 17. Doesn't matter to me.
Uh, yeah, so that was my list.
Yeah, it's good
Those
stuff.
bring
Thank
back
you.
good memories, though. I
Thank you,
feel like
Mario.
like cartoons aren't like that as anymore. You know,
Ooh, Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold, football
Hey
head.
Arnold. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like TV
Oh,
shows,
sorry.
like
No, no,
cartoons,
no.
just aren't
Sorry.
as good as that anymore.
Not Hey Arnold. I thought that show was weird. I never watched it. I was thinking of Arthur, which is
You thought Hey
There's
which is
Arnold
also
was weird, but an aardvark wearing glasses wasn't weird?
it's what's wrong with that?
A football
DW
head, an
causing trouble,
aardvark.
Buster the rabbit.
Dude, you watched the softest cartoons when you were a kid.
He
What
was
do you mean?
Canadian, man. What did you expect? He's Canadian. They weren't allowed to watch violence or something like that, were they?
I don't
I
know.
wasn't allowed to
Uh,
watch SpongeBob because it was too bad. What do you want
oh
from me?
my god, dude. Ugh.
Yeah, that's tough.
When he finally did, he was just shocked at the amount of violence and language in that show.
Although SpongeBob develops because when you watch it as a kid, you be like Squidward is the most relatable person in that show.
Yeah.
And it still holds up when you're an adult. That's the great thing about SpongeBob. I mean, it still holds
Um,
up. Man.
well, thank you for that great question that allowed us to reminisce a little bit. We'll go on to our final topic. Just TV shows that were influential for their time and have made their mark on history. Rich, what do you think?
South Park,
I have that one.
they are still making episodes. I still think they're hilarious, and I like that they can make fun of anything. They can
Yeah.
take literally anything and make a joke out of it. And a lot of the times like it's meant to be like a facetious kind of joke, but I specifically remember the season they did when it was during like it was the election when it was Trump versus Hillary Clinton, and it was like the two candidates were shit sandwich and I forget the other thing, but it's like they perfectly explained how everyone was feeling at that time between like the candidates you had to pick from, and they just
Mm.
I think the writers on that show are legendary, and it holds up.
Are they just more known for just being outrageous though? Like don't get me wrong, I liked South Park in the earlier years, but
I think they do
and
both really well. Like
they're just
it's obviously satire, but like
is it a good TV show or are they just known for being outrageous?
I think it's great comedy.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad show or anything like that because like I used to
Screw,
watch South Park a lot.
screw you guys. I'm going home.
And I can see why like it's true that they really have made their mark because of the reason that you said. Like literally I feel like they like have no boundaries when it comes to what they can talk about and they're probably the only show that is like that.
Right, because the people that don't like that are not watching South Park to begin with, so who cares?
Yeah.
Like they're not trying to at this point they're not trying to get a larger audience. Like they're trying to appease the people that have been watching the show. So yeah, that's all I got, guys. South Park.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, that's fair. Like that was on my list of ones that honestly changed it just because of the fact that the same thing. Like
Hmm.
they're the only show that I think has just no boundaries of what they talk about. Like people, they've become so outrageous over the years that people are just like, okay, this has come up. Oh well, we expect South Park to make an episode about that, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's just like expected of them almost that if they don't make an outrageous episode like that, it's almost weird.
Yeah.
And there's no other TV show that can possibly pull that off. You cannot find another one.
And I
Mhm.
added to my notes because I was curious. South Park has been around since '97. So
Wow.
that show's been around, is that 26 years? Is my
Do you
math
want me to say
mathing?
it? You want me to say it?
I don't know.
You want me to say it? It's been
It's older
around
than
longer
you.
than I have. It's older
It's
than
older
me.
than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Back when they started that show, they were hand drawing all that stuff. And like it's crazy. Like
I used to tape them on
cartoons.
VCR. I'm not gonna lie. I used to tape them on VCR, like record them episodes of them on Comedy Central or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cartoons at that time were so much work. Like it's crazy that people can put that stuff together the way they used to.
it was both good and bad because like it was good as then it required so many people had jobs and then after that went away like everybody lost their job. Like I just watched a documentary about how like Nickelodeon used to be and how they employed so many people and then as soon as basically they got rid of hand drawn stuff everybody got fired.
Yeah. I mean, We're going through a similar thing now with AI, where once
Mhm.
Yeah.
computers got to a certain point, you didn't need people sitting around drawing for 8 hours a day or 10 hours, whatever long they're doing it. Like,
Didn't have to pay them.
you just put an image in a computer and I mean, you could do whatever you want with it essentially.
Um, for me, I have a few. South Park was one of them. Honestly, as much as we didn't didn't like them, I also think Friends is one of them because I think like they just made that comedy quote unquote genre like really huge. I mean, I don't think they have to be good shows to make their influence, to be influential. Um, but I mean, whether you like them or not, some people still talk about Friends to this day. I mean, I think they made their mark. Other shows, American Idol, I think is another show that made their mark. And as much I used to like it back when it first started, but that was another show that started. I mean, look how many shows there are similar to that now after American Idol popped. I
And they're
mean,
all
like
equally terrible.
they're all equally terrible, but like that was the one that set the because I think they had it before in the UK or whatever. Or they had a different that was like the same thing, but when they brought it to America and it just blew up, and now it's so saturated with everybody can dance, America's Next Greatest Talent, the whatever the other shows are. It's the same exact
Mhm.
vein as American Idol, so that really set a big thing. Another one which also isn't the first, but I believe it brought it really was like the first one that really brought it into mainstream for me was Family Matters. Because it was like one of the first real big time black comedies that made it really like was like a prime time TV show that it didn't matter what color you are, loved that TV show. I mean, uh, Steve Urkel became like one of the biggest things in pop culture over the years, and even though there were other black comedies before that, I don't think they were nearly as popular as Family Matters ended up being. I mean, I watched them on TGIF every single week. Uh, I just think it was one of those shows that's the reason it made their mark because it was finally one of those first black comedies that really, really, really became pulp culture, regardless of what race you were. Didn't matter. So
Mhm.
those are my list. I mean, The Simpsons was also another one that I think was really big. I mean, we're talking about what did they start in the end of the 80s?
I'll find out for you.
Whatever.
What I was gonna say is, I wish I could agree with you on Family Matters, but like that's before my time and certainly before Raptors time. Uh,
No, what do you
they
mean? I want no.
they aired in '89. I was negative
Family
four.
Matters.
Yeah, I was negative four in '89. So,
I was -10.
um,
How about we just not talk about that?
Shadow, how old were you in '89?
89, 6.
holy,
Oh,
what?
that's
Okay, so apparently The
honest.
Simpsons started at '89 as well, and I am
Yes.
seeing a picture of what they first looked like.
They were
Oh, it's
awful looking.
terrible. It's so
Oh
bad.
my
I
god, it
have
was
never
so
seen
bad.
this before.
Yep. It was horrible looking. It almost made you wonder how the heck did they get more seasons? Because this
Yeah.
was before this was before a time when like TV shows now you can get away with having terrible looking characters, drawings, stuff like that. I mean, they've had many TV shows since then that are just like on purposely terrible drawing that people love just because of that fact. But back in the 80s, I don't know how they made it past with that awful of drawings,
Yeah.
honestly, but that became like a humongous pop culture hit. And somehow it's still going. I don't know. Like I said, they should have cut that off a long time ago.
So for me, honestly, on the same kind of vein as America's Got Talent or whatever, I was thinking kind of SNL. Like Saturday Night Live has given us pretty much everyone we love. Like,
Mhm.
think about all of the shows that we've talked about, and think about the majority of those actors being on Saturday Night Live. Will Ferrell, can think of one.
Who's that?
No idea.
which has no idea.
Steve Burrell. Um, yeah, I don't have much to say about it, but like, I mean, obviously, I think that there was a lot of shows that we love, aka Parks and Rec and for Brooklyn Nine Nine that have SNL actors that also at the same time are spawned from the success of The Office, and I think just yeah, though the SNL, The Office, like they're easy picks, but we've just gotten so much from them.
I mean, it's hard to find almost a really big '90s show that didn't a comedy one at least that didn't spawn from somebody that came from SNL
Did you
Yeah,
guys
movies and stuff like that.
did you guys watch that '70s show?
No,
a little bit.
I, I
I hear
really
one of them is a
for
mhm,
for someone who cannot stand sitcoms, that I really liked that show. That '90s show, that newer one, is a pile of garbage, but
like on like SNL, even like Jim Carrey came from a show similar to that. I mean, Mad
yeah,
TV.
yeah.
That's where like the Wayans brothers and stuff came from.
Oh, the Wayans brothers.
The Wayans brothers, Jim Carrey, all them, they came from Mad TV, which is pretty much like the I don't know, like the cheaper version of SNL, I guess.
Yeah,
So the generic SNL kind of. So like just in that vein of type of shows. I mean, look how many comedy people that thing has spawned, but SNL for sure. I mean, it's really hard to find like '80s, '90s, even into some of the 2000s, a really good comedy movie or stars that didn't spawn from that TV show.
yeah.
there is like a small genre of television that we haven't mentioned. Did any of you guys watch any MTV in like 2000 to 2010?
Um,
I
I watched it when it was still music television.
Okay, so you're old. Okay,
I
um,
mean,
I
that was when
wish
it was at its best. I'm sorry.
I wish it still was music television, and it ended in my like during my favorite era of music, which is new metal, which is like mid 2000 to 2010 ish, and but Rob and Big is one of
Never
my
watched it,
favorite shows. I don't know what it
Right.
is.
but I love ridiculousness.
I would love it if Chanel West Coast wasn't on the show laughing at everything, but
Uh,
yeah,
shit.
I also don't like it because it's a huge ripoff of Tosh.0.
Never
And
watched it.
what? And at Comedy Central, Tosh.0, he watches like internet videos and makes
I know
comments
what it
on
is.
them. And
I know what it is. I just never watched it. I don't know.
but like I
That guy
love,
annoyed me.
I could see that he's, but I love like dark humor comedians, and he's like one of the best. So I really loved that show. So Ridiculousness just felt weird to watch.
I mean, for me, like us, the show that I watched for a little while that really came from MTV was Real World. I watched that for I don't know how many seasons until it just got like, yeah,
So
it's the same thing.
is it like reality TV?
Yeah, and then like the first season of Real World Road Rules, or no, I think I don't even think it was called Real World. It was called Road Rules. It was just Road Rules back in the day. Then they turned it into like a mixture. But the first season of Road Rules was really really good as well. But I miss it when it was just like the times that I remember are like when it was TRL with Carson Daly. Uh, when it was actually still like music videos, them and VH1 with like pop-up video and everything like that. And I used to sit there for hours and hours and hours just watching music videos.
I want to start
Um,
my own service like like that now, but the problem is all the music I'd put on there, all the hip young kids don't like it, so it wouldn't do very well.
Not only that, but the amount that it would cost to be able to play that music.
Yeah.
You would have
Yeah.
to buy like the rights to be able to play that music on your thing. And if you listen to the like some of the podcasts, like the Office ladies, it costs them to get to even mention or even say one sentence of some of the most popular songs was $30,000, and that was just to even sing like one line of the entire song. They had to pay $30,000 in order to do it.
Mm.
Wonder how much they paid
see.
for the episode where Holly is moving away and they keep singing "Life is a Highway" over and over again in the moving truck.
I mean, like, you don't pay per line, so like you pay one fee for the song.
So they're
and you
getting their
have
money's
use-
worth. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
So you pay one fee for the song, and I don't remember if it's you have use of that song for the entire time that you had, like you bought the rights, the Office bought the rights to play that at any time, or if they only bought it for that one episode. But I know it's like $30,000 to $40,000 is how much they cost.
Oof.
So we're going to be purchasing the use of Life is a Highway. So donations
Pulling
are
our money
welcome.
together. Yeah.
Life is a highway.
We better start a GoFundMe now. Oh Jesus!
Together,
Richie just cost us freaking $30,000.
I don't have
Parts
30
getting
grand. I
copyright.
don't know about you guys.
I don't have 30
I don't know
grand.
who's footing that bill.
All right,
Together,
well, we better be starting a GoFundMe Patreon real fast.
we'll combine our funds to get $5,000, and we need you guys to raise the rest of the 25.
Yeah, we'll do a payment plan. We'll start a payment plan with him.
We're gonna pool
get that.
$5 grand, and then we'll do an in-person podcast. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. You guys have anything else to say?
No, wrap it up, dude.
Nope. Oh, I'm good,
Perfect.
man.
Yeah.
Got
With
everything
that,
off my chest.
with that, we've had some great takes, some bad takes. We will end it there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to us talk about TV shows. We appreciate it. We upload these to YouTube, and we will be back next week to talk about something else and have more bad opinions about it. See ya.